We're with Mr. Lawson Naidoo from the Council for the Advancement of the South African Constitution. Lawson, you read the CSA judgment today. Should we be pleased with the judgment the judges handed down?
I think we ought to be. It's a comprehensive judgment that has gone back and traced the origins of this matter over some 15 years and has really given us an in-depth background which provides the basis for the reasoning behind today's judgment, which I think is a very clear judgment in terms of what it means for the NPA and what it means for President Zuma.
The SCA judges were quite scathing in their handing down of the matter. Judge Nafsa saying that the way in which the court case was conducted or the prosecution conducted the matter was inexcusable. What does this say about the integrity of the NPA during that time and again now defending that original decision?
Well, I think it really calls into question the credibility of the National Prosecuting Authority, and that should be a matter of some grave concern for all South Africans. And I think the leadership of the National Prosecuting Authority need to reflect upon this judgment seriously. And I think Advocate Sean Abrahams in particular should really consider whether it would not be in the best interest of the NPA and the country for him to now tender his resignation.
Also some quite interesting legal things coming out of the judgment, such as that a bad motive does not necessarily destroy a good case.
Well, I think this is the issue, is that the crux of President Zuma's representations to the NPA back in 2009 was based on the fact that there might have been a political conspiracy against him. And the conspiracy, to the extent that it existed at all, only related to the date of when the charges were brought, whether they were going to be brought ahead of the Polokwane conference or after it. And the judgment today has found very definitively that the NPA were not in a position to bring the case before the December conference in 2007 because they weren't ready. So the fact that the charges were only laid after the conference was inevitable in any case, but that had no impact on the validity of the case itself, on the strength of the evidence that the NPA were in possession of at the time. So there was every reason why the NPA should indeed have proceeded to prosecute President Jacob Zuma back at that time.
The judgment also mentions President Zuma's defense's decision to, at the 11th hour, admit that his case really had no merit. In essence, wasting all of our time and wasting the court's time and the taxpayers' time. Was this all part of his strategy?
Well, I think it's been clear from the very outset that President Zuma's strategy has been premised on delaying the inevitable and pushing this out as far as he could. And having got to the Supreme Court of Appeal in this matter, his legal team conceded, as you say, at the 11th hour and accepted the fact that Advocate Mshea's decision to withdraw the charges in 2009 was in fact irrational, a decision that should not have been taken. And for them to only concede that at this late stage, I think already you could see it in the tone of the judgment today, irked the judges of the Supreme Court, as I think it has irked most South Africans who felt that we've been taken for a ride.